All right, these are the notes on worksheet 26A and B in the spiral. So first of all, we're going to talk about point slope form. Can you write that down on that line, guys? I think it's not written in yours. It's, you write y minus some y value. We're going to replace this with a number. We call it y1. Equals, what does m stand for, guys? Slope. And then we're going to write parenthesis x minus the x value from the point. So that all those three that I underlined in red are going to get replaced with numbers. The x1 and y1 are going to come from a point. And then we're going to put the slope that they give us in. So that's why it's called point slope, because we use this when they give us 1 point and a slope. Or when we know 1 point and a slope. Caleb, can you put that away, please? Take the notes. This is the last day of the notes, guys, from this unit. And then I'm going to collect them and take a summative, okay? So at the end of the day today, when you turn in, when you're done with your spiral, if you put it up here, I'll grade it. And we'll do all the notes on parallel and perpendicular, and then you'll get 1 point for every day you took notes, and it's an easy summative, okay? So example 1, we're going to replace the x1 with a 4. We're going to replace the y1 with a 1, and then we're going to replace the m or the slope with a 2. So we write y minus, what are we putting in for y1 right here? 1 equals, what are we going to put in for the m? 2 parenthesis x minus the x1 also gets replaced with, it said a 4 here. All right. Then we're going to distribute and get the y all by itself. So we have y minus 1 equals 2x minus 8. Still need to do what? All right, if we add 1, we'll have y equals 2x. Now, why did I put the plus 1 with the 8? Yep, combine like terms. Very good job. So we get 2x minus 7. So a line that has a y-intercept at negative 7 and it goes up 2 and over 1 will pass through the point 4, 1, and it has a slope of 2. Alright, fractions sometimes confuse us. We got to be a little bit careful. This time we're going to put in an m value of 1/2. When we distribute, we've got to be careful. The x1 for the point is going to be the 2, and the y1 will be the 4. So can anybody tell me what it's going to say when we put it all in that equation? Go ahead, Tyler. Very nicely done. Okay. Remember to put the 2 in for the x, the 4 in for the y, and the 1/2 in for the slope. Now, if you're not good with fractions, this one's pretty self-explanatory, but you can type 1 divided by 2 on your calculator, and then times this negative 2, and it'll tell you the answer. What's half of negative 2, guys? Negative 1. So this is just 1/2 x minus 1 back here. And we need the y by itself. So we're almost done. What do we need to do? Add 4 to the 1 to the negative 1, and we get 1/2 x plus 3. Good job. You all right?
I told you how to prove. Yeah. You really want to know. All right.
All right, we're going to put in an x1 and a y1 and a slope here. I have no idea. We need to put the 6 in for the x here. The negative 6. What happens when we do x minus negative 6? You already have this in your spiral. Yep. And the y minus 0 over here is just going to be y. So this is a pretty easy one. Whoops, whoops, whoops. That should just be minus. I wrote that wrong. All right. So y minus 0 is just y. Minus a negative in here becomes plus positive. 2/3 times x. We just write 2/3 x. Anybody type it on your calculator? What's 2 divided by 3 times 6? 2 divided by 3 times 6. It's the same as 2 times 6 divided by 3, so it is 4. If you don't have your calculator out, get it, please. All right, who can start me out on this one? Yeah, it's minus a negative 8. And there was also a negative on the 3/4. I wasn't sure I heard you say that one. But you did say plus here and plus here. Good job. All right, so we have y plus 1 equals, this is just negative 3/4 x. And then type negative 3 divided by 4 times 8. And what do we get? Good call. Negative 6. Last step is to do what? Are you taking these notes, everybody? This is easy points on a summative. Or it's a 0 on a summative if you don't have the notes. Negative 6 minus 1. Be careful. Phones away or I will take them. We good? Oh, 2 more of these? All right, we can do it. Oh, what's different? They're not the same. We have 2 points. So what do we have to find first? Yeah, do you remember how to find the slope? Yes, but the x's go where? Yeah. All right, so we're going to go, the x's are the 2 and the 4, and the y's are the negative 1 and the negative 6. I was just rewriting them so that they lined up. Yeah. So we're going to do negative 1 minus negative 6 over 2 minus 4. You could do negative 6 minus negative 1 and 4 minus 2. It's the same thing. In the end, you'll come out with, I got negative 5/2. Did someone else get that or not? Number 7. If you did the other order, if you did negative 6 minus negative 1 over 4 minus 2, you get negative 5 over positive 2. So it should be negative 5/2 either way you did it. Did you figure out what you did?
Yeah, I've been writing.
I don't have 5 and 6.
I've been writing.
What are they? Are they given the points again?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as the other thing we were.
This one, but it, okay.
Yeah.
How about we cross out 5 and 6? Deal? I don't know what happened. I don't have 5 and 6. I think 2 examples of this will be enough, don't you?
Yep.
Okay. So we found the slope. Now what do we need to do? Yep, we go to point slope. Good job. And we need to pick one. Anybody care which one we use? You want to do 2 and negative 1? Okay. So our x1 is going to be replaced with a 2. Our y1 is going to be replaced with a negative 1 because we picked that point. And our m is going to be replaced with a negative 5/2. All right. I know you don't have a lot of room. You can write on number 5 or whatever you need to do anyway. But it's y minus negative 1 equals the m, which is negative 5/2, times x minus the x value, which was 2. All right, what happens to minus a negative? Becomes plus, right? And negative 5/2 times x is just negative 5/2 x. But what's negative 5 divided by 2 times negative 2 over here? Negative 5 divided by 2 times negative 2. Yeah, it's positive 5. Then we just subtract 1 and we get what? Good job. All right, Caleb, can you tell me how to do the slope on this one right here? Right, minus negative 8, which would become plus 8. Good job. Yep, minus negative 3, which will become plus. All right, 7 and 8 is 15. 2 and 3 is 5. We divide and get 3. Did anybody else get a slope of 3? Brady, which point should we use? You want to use negative 3, negative 8, or 2, 7? Okay, we're going to use these two. And we're going to put in the y and the x. What is that going to look like? Alex, can you do that part? We're going back to this equation, so it'll say y minus, what are we going to put in for the y value? Good job. 7 equals, the slope was 3, right? X, and then we use this x value of 2. Good job. All right, if we distribute, we get y minus 7 equals 3x minus 6. Distributing there. Add 7. Anybody have the final answer? What'd you have, Tyler? I don't have plus 13. I don't have 16. I just got 1. Did you not get a negative 6 plus 7? I think you just lost a sign, Tyler. Did you have 3x minus 6 or no? Okay. Right. Okay, you just lost that negative on the 2 there. Everybody okay? All right. It will work if you use negative 3, negative 8 as well. Just have watch your double negatives. All right, moving on to 26B. Right, it says write an equation parallel to this one that goes through this point. All we need to know from this equation they gave us is the slope. What's the slope, guys? The slope is 2. Once we've written that down, we don't need this equation anymore. Don't use anything else from that equation. Now, what does a parallel slope mean to do? Okay, JJ, put the tape away.
All right, then I just want to do it. And then,
All right, parallel slope of 2. What does the slope do when it's parallel? Does it flip over and change or stay the same? Stay the same. So we're just going to use this 2 and this point and do exactly what we just did on the other page. So what will that first step look like? Y minus. What's the y value we're putting in, guys? Good job. Equals the slope we're supposed to use is 2. And then it's x minus this x value. Be careful.
oh, negative
Yep, -4. Good call. All right, lots of minuses, so this becomes plus positive and plus positive. So we have y plus 1 equals, distribute, subtract 1. Anybody getting an answer? 2x plus 7. Anybody not getting that? Please stop.
I just have one more piece of tape. I can just do the last piece of tape.
Yes, but you need like
It's not my
tiny,
fault, it's noisy.
tiny little pieces in the corner.
It's
I
not
pay
my
for that
fault.
tape out of my... Then you can use glue sticks, okay?
I like these things. They're sticky.
All right, guys, what's the slope of this line on number 10? -5/2. It's parallel again, so what do we do with it? Do we flip it over and change the sign?
No.
Nope, we just keep it. Then we're done with that equation. Now we just need that and this guy back here. This is going to be our x, this is going to be our y, and this is going to be our m, or slope. You try that one on your own for a minute. At least get it set up, that first step. All right, this one's you're going to want a calculator for. So I have y minus 7 equals -5/2 times x. Whoops. And then I need to know what is -5/2 times 6. Just type -5 divided by 2 times 6. -15, right? Okay. Then I just need to add 7. So I get y equals -5/2 x. What's -15 plus 7? Good job. -8. You got that one? Alright, it gets much more complicated when we have to do perpendicular. Oh, we're not even to a perpendicular yet? This one is a little more complicated because what's wrong with this equation? Yeah, the y's not by itself. We have to subtract an x. We get -3y equals a -x plus 9. Divide everything by a -3. We did all that work, and all we really needed was the slope. What's the slope of that mess? Nope. Be careful. -1x divided by -3 is +1/3. Yep. So all that work just to find out that our slope is 1/3. Now it's parallel. Do we have to flip it over? All right. Now we got to use this point over here. Our x and our y. So it's going to be y minus -1 equals 1/3 x minus this x value, which was 3. Okay, 1/3 times 1 x is 1/3 x, but what's 1/3 of -3? 1 divided by 3 times -3 is, but it's -1, right? Because it was a -3 here. All right, now if we subtract the 1 over to this side, be careful. It's not 0, it's what? Yeah, 1/3 x minus 2. I did not put one on the test like that where you had to start off making when we have a quiz on this eventually, where you had to start off by getting the y by itself. That's a lot of work. All right, the next one doesn't say parallel, it says what? Perpendicular, which means you have to do what to the slopes? Perpendicular slopes, yep, we have to take opposite reciprocals, which means we have to change the sign and do what? Yep. All right, so our slope from here is 3 over 4, but if we want the perpendicular slope, it's going to become what? Flip it over, change the sign, and we have negative 4 over 3. Good job, Raylan. JJ, you writing this down?
Yeah.
Good. Summative for taking the notes. Alright, so now we have the right slope. We don't care anything else about this equation, but we need it to go through this point. What'll that look like when we put it in point slope? Brady, can you tell me? Y minus which value here? The negative 3 equals the slope, which we flipped over and made negative 4/3. And then x minus this 3 back here. Right, minus the negative becomes plus. Negative 4/3 times x. Okay, what's negative 4/3 times negative 3? Negative 4 divided by 3 times negative 3. Touch your calculator. Positive 4. What's left? Subtract 3 and we get, so we have y equals negative 4/3 x plus 1. We have 2 more? Yes. When we finish the notes? What you're supposed to be taking? Do you want the points? Yeah, it did plus 1. You good? Alright. Easy one again because it's in y equals form. What's the slope of this line right now? Well, the slope of the line right now is negative 2, but you are absolutely right. When we do a perpendicular slope, we have to flip it over and change the sign. So Raylan said 1/2. Everybody agree? Does she have the sign right? Negative becomes positive. Flip this over and it becomes 1/2. Alright, we're going to use this x and this y. Austin, what will that look like when we plug it into this equation here? We'll have y minus what? Equals? Good job. Yep, 1/2. Good job. Alright guys, what's half of negative 4? Do I write plus 2 or minus 2 though? Yeah. Half of negative 4 would be negative 2. Can you finish? All we have to do is what? What'd you get, Cassidy? Anybody disagree with her? You do? Good job. Last one, did you get the y by itself yet? Some of you are working ahead here. This is kind of a miserable one, but the good news is we don't really care. All we want is the slope at the end. So we get 3y equals negative 5x minus 7. We have to divide by what? Oh, that was a 21. Wow, I did the dividing in my head and wrote 7. Sorry. That was a minus 21. Then we're supposed to divide by 3. Got a little carried away there. So I got negative 5/3 x minus 7. But what do I have to do to the slope? And make it opposite sign so it'll actually be positive 3 over 5. Did someone else get that? So we put this x and this y in. Colton, can you tell me what we get? Oh, you're ahead of me. You're probably right, but what's the first step? Y minus equals, which becomes plus positive. And what did you get when you distributed then? Okay, so 3 divided by 5 times this 5 back here just became a positive 3. Added 1 and got 3/5 x plus, anybody? 4, did you have that one? Is that the last one? We survived the notes? Did you forget to move the 1? When we distributed, we did get 3, but then we had to add the 1. You good? Okay. All right, when you finish this, you need to work on the worksheet. The worksheet has 1 through 22, and I will let you do either the evens or the odds, your pick. You only have to do evens or odds on the worksheet, and then put it in the basket when you're done.